The Pittsburgh Steelers' offense will look different this coming season in more ways than one. Not only is the Aaron Rodgers era underway at quarterback, but he has new skill position weapons at his disposal as training camp approaches. The wide receiver and tight end spots get a lot of buzz, and rightfully so. Running back, however, shouldn't be overlooked. Following the departure of Najee Harris, the rotation will change even if one of the names in it remains the same. Veteran Jaylen Warren, in particular, could be due for a big-time season. Mo Moton of Bleacher Report believes so, naming Warren to his list of halfbacks in the best positions for 2025 breakouts. Jaylen Warren projected to get first crack at RB1 role for Steelers. Moton is aware that Warren doesn't fit the bill of a workhorse in the backfield. He doesn't necessarily have to, though, in order to still see an uptick in production. At 5'8" and 215 pounds, Warren doesn't have the prototypical size for a feature running back, but he's been efficient with his carries across his 3 NFL seasons, Moton wrote. Warren is averaging 4.8 yards per carry through 48 career games. Unless Johnson looks incredible in training camp and the preseason, Warren figures to get the first crack at being the Steelers' lead ball carrier. He has never recorded more than 15 carries in a game, but that could change this year. Warren's best season was the 2023-24 campaign. Playing in all 17 regular season games, he set career-high marks in attempts, 149, rushing yards, 784, rushing touchdowns, 4, and yards per carry, 5.3. In the same season, Harris toted the ball 255 times and amassed 1,035 yards with 8 scores to boot. He did so while averaging just 4.1 yards per carry, making Warren the more effective back overall. Now imagine a world with Warren still not even turning 27 years old. Imagine him having fewer than 350 carries under his belt. This is reality. He's still relatively young, fresh, and poised to be the club starter. Should he even settle at 4.5 yards per carry in 2025 but receive 200 tries, he'd be at a career-best 900 yards. Caleb Johnson deserves respect as a third-round pick, and his insane final collegiate season indicated he has a bright future. But camp will see less of a position battle and more so a test to see how ready Johnson is. Barring the former Iowa standout looking like prime Le'Veon Bell, a longtime Steelers legend, Warren has the inside edge for more volume. Sound rushing attack could be key for Pittsburgh's 2025 offense. An overwhelming majority of chatter about the Steelers' 2025 offense centers around the passing game. It's expected, as throwing the ball is the current meta in football. Rodgers is the shiny new toy in town. Adding receiver DK Metcalf and tight end Jonnu Smith doesn't hurt, either. There's no denying that an improved passing attack would guide Pittsburgh to better days, but a new-look rushing attack may set and raise their floor. Only 3 teams ran the ball more than the Steelers a season ago: the Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, and Detroit Lions. Despite that, Mike Tomlin's crew sat just outside the top 10 in total rushing yards. Advanced Stats hated the Pittsburgh run game, which doesn't help matters. According to Sumer Sports, the Steelers ranked 28th in EPA/rush, minus 0.09, in 2024-25. Of 46 running backs to log at least 100 attempts last season, Warren ranked 16th in yards after contact per attempt per Pro Football Focus. Harris was 31st. Warren isn't some massive upgrade from an athleticism standpoint, but he can't be worse than a lateral move. Harris has 4 1,000-yard rushing seasons in a row. The only thing stopping Warren from pushing for that should be health or volume. Pittsburgh had an impressive 2025 draft, adding some pieces of need while adding some depth to key position groups. But the additions didn't stop after Saturday's day 3 of the draft. The undrafted free agent frenzy began just minutes after the final selection, and the Steelers picked up even more pieces. One of those is former Iowa safety Sebastian Castro, who almost immediately started receiving praise after his signing. USA Today's Bucs Wire predicted every team's surprise rookie from this offseason, and while most players on the list are draft picks for the Steelers, it's Castro. The Pittsburgh Steelers drafted several players who we expect to have a big impact, including defensive tackle Derek Harmon and running back Caleb Johnson, Steelers Wire's Kurt Popejoy wrote. But the name to keep an eye on is an undrafted free agent. Former Iowa safety Sebastian Castro signed with the Steelers as an undrafted free agent after a stellar college career. The trade that sent Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins gives Pittsburgh a spot on the depth chart open, and we won't be at all shocked if Castro uses a strong training camp and preseason to make the 53-man roster and more. Not long after the draft and frenzy of free agent signings, The Athletic's Nick Baumgardner named Castro the Steelers' best signing. A 3-year starting safety and a playmaker. For Phil Parker's always tough Iowa defense, Castro doesn't have elite athleticism but is an extremely smart defender, both in pass coverage, especially zone, and run support. Baumgardner wrote, "The Pittsburgh Steelers offense was in major need of a facelift this offseason. That's exactly what it got, as quarterback Aaron Rodgers is in town, and he has a couple of new weapons around him to throw to. With that said, this is a unit that still isn't viewed as one of the best in the NFL. There's room for improvement at the receiver position, specifically, despite DK Metcalf being traded for. Pittsburgh gave up George Pickens in a separate move, meaning it's a wash from a depth chart perspective. As training camp approaches, one prediction is calling for another wideout being added. In a story for Bleacher Report, Mo Moton made the bold prediction that free agent Keenan Allen will join the Win Now Steelers for camp. According to Moton, Allen can still play good football. Not only that, but he'd be a good fit with the assortment of playmakers the Steelers currently have. The Steelers should make another move for a wide receiver to help Rodgers, Moton wrote. Keenan Allen could fit within their receiver rotation. Allen is capable of lining up on the perimeter or the inside, allowing him to coexist with Calvin Austin III, who made big plays out of the slot last season. In 2024, Allen finished second on the Chicago Bears in catches, 70, and receiving yards, 744, and led the team in touchdown receptions, 7, showing he can still play at a high level. With Metcalf and Austin as the big play receivers, Allen would be the trusted chain mover in the Steelers' revamped passing attack. Allen, now 33 years old, had a resurgence in his final year with the Los Angeles Chargers. He seems to have left his Pro Bowl form there, though, as his cameo in Chicago didn't go overwhelmingly well. Despite playing 71 more snaps, Allen saw declines in yards per reception, 11.5 to 10.6, yards per target, 8.3 to 6.1, success rate, 58.7% to 47.1%, and more. Advanced Stats didn't love Allen's season, either. While his 64.4 Pro Football Focus grade was far from bad, it was easily the worst of his decade-plus-long career. Of all wideouts with at least 30 targets on the year, his 68.2 receiving grade was 64th. And of Pittsburgh's wideout depth chart shouldn't prevent late acquisitions. With all of that said, Allen's profile should appeal to the Steelers given their current receiver room. Metcalf is a nice piece, and Moton mentioned Austin, who's generating buzz this offseason, as someone who wouldn't overlap with Allen. That much is true, as Allen's lowest boundary alignment percentage of his career is 35.1 according to PFF. He can move around the formation and execute various route concepts. There also simply isn't anyone else worth fielding over, even an aging Allen. Players like Robert Woods, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skowronek are proven veterans with limited ceilings. Roman Wilson is a developmental piece who is essentially redoing his rookie year. There's not only room for Allen, but there's a sound case to be made for a need. At this stage of his career, Allen is likely valuing things like fit, opportunity, and winning. The Steelers would check multiple or all of those boxes. Rodgers having another smart mind on offense is a great idea. A slightly diminished version of Allen is better than most of this wideout core. Can it happen? Sure. Will it happen? That remains to be seen.